actually like converted my website. We were kind of this last week. We were just up like kind of like editing the like one of the examples and like changing like the margins and like
I see.
side like colors and everything.
Okay.
And I thought we were gonna put it together today, but I mean I can still.
If we pass you the ball, can you just show? Just take 2, 3, 4 minutes to show Jacob the template and explain. I know Brent, you designed this with Daniel's help, but let's see if Isla can you call up the file that you were editing last week? Do you still have it?
Yeah.
And just show Jacob and Dana the whole template. Great. So you have the ball. Just share your desktop. Does this make sense, Jacob, as a intro into what you're going to talk about today? Or
Yep, sure.
Okay. Let's get everyone synced on where we are.
I'll share. I'm trying to find. I cannot find.
At the very top, it's File, Edit, Share. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to get the. I don't think I need this. Sorry, I'm just trying to open.
No problem.
Okay. I don't think I need that, but I think the style is what I need. Okay. Give me a second.
Is the table HTML, is that with divs or is that with table tags? Oh, okay, great.
Okay. So that's like the example, I guess. And for style, we kind of just like played around with the different colors, like the link tag. We like changed it to blue. And then, I may have always been blue, I don't know, but we changed, let's see.
Jacob, as Isla is going through this, this is our latest and greatest CSS template. And if you see anything that, doesn't look quite right here, chime in. We're in the process of trying to optimize our templates to get interns to convert table text to divs and CSS. Table code to.
Okay, cool. Okay. Looks great.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I think this is the background. I'm just like blinking out. Let me try to inspect that one and just see.
Can you explain to Dana, who you may already know this, Dana, but can you explain the reason why we're using CSS and divs instead of tables? What's the advantage of coding rows and columns, a layout that has rows and columns? What's the advantage of using divs, CSS, as opposed to the original table code we used?
Well, to start off, it's kind of like confusing how to like convert it and like start it off, just because like it's a lot. But once you have everything kind of like laid out and set up, it's much easier to like update instead of having like to use like multiple different like pages to update like just like one like page. It's like it's hard to explain, but
that's a pretty good explanation, wouldn't you say, Jacob? Of why you use CSS as a global, one file globally controls the style of your whole website? Yep. Great, Isla. Okay, and there's another reason for using CSS in combination with divs that I know Jacob mentioned in the last webcast, and that is in the HTML files, you control just the content, and in the CSS files, you control the layout and the style of your website. So I think you referred to it, Jacob, as separation of concerns, separating content from design.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that helps you be more flexible too, especially if you're moving into sort of responsive design or supporting mobile devices and smaller screens. It helps to move away from tables and into what we call semantic HTML, or HTML, like John said, that just describes the content and leaves all the style information for CSS.
Great, great. Dana, I'm not sure when the last webcast was you sat in on, but does this make sense to you?
Yeah. I actually have been working on my CSS and divs a lot, but I have one problem.
Yeah?
So I have the, I was trying to move a font tag from my HTML to my CSS, but it didn't register. So is there anything you're supposed to replace the font tag with? Because I put font dash color and font, but it didn't work for some reason. I put it on the H1 tag.
Jacob, if we pass the ball to Dana before we get into Less and Bootstrap, it might be helpful to see if we can troubleshoot Dana's problem?
Absolutely.
All right, Dana, I'm going to pass the ball to you, and then we'll pass it back to Jacob for the rest of the session. Okay?
I'm using my mom's desktop, so I can't really show the code because my desktop for some reason isn't working.
Got it, got it. Okay.
But however, I will be able to open it in Google Chrome. So here we go.
Okay, so you will be able to see the code, but we won't be able to edit it. No problem.
All right, so there's my page.
Okay.
And, I don't remember how you're supposed to get the source code up on the screen. I think it's right down over here, right?
F12.
Okay, it's not doing anything.
Let's see. Oh, this is Mac.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Okay.
So here is my code. So I'm not sure if this is the right. Oh, this is the wrong CSS file. I originally had one, but it was the wrong one. So this is my actual source code for my CSS.
Okay.
And in my HTML, if I go to one of my more complicated pages to view this will help a little. But
Wow, Dana, you're much further along than I thought, having missed all those classes. You did this all on your own.
yeah, and so let's see, if I go and I view my source code, you're gonna notice that a lot of things, like I still have the font face equals color equals, because when I tried putting those tags into the CSS, it didn't work, and I'm not sure why. I cannot edit the code because this is my mom's account, because my account for some reason is the internet's not working.
Okay. Well, we can even if we can't edit the original code, we can sort of see what you would do using. I'm not sure what the equivalent is for Safari on a Mac.
Yeah.
But in I can show you in Firefox or in Chrome, kind of the developer tools that we can use in browser. There's something in Firefox called Firebug that can help us kind of edit CSS on the fly, so we can see kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. I usually do use the F12 thing to mess around with my code without actually having to save it. But again, on my mom's account, for some reason, it's not working.
Yeah. Tell you what, could we, Dana, could you pass me the ball there. I can share my screen. I have your site pulled up.
I'm not sure how to do that right now.
I did it. Jacob, you have the ball now.
Okay. Okay. So here's your site, and I'm going to open up Firebug. Okay. So here's the element in question, right? With the font.
Yes. Don't you like font dash family in
Right.
And another thing is, I don't know why, but the Ubuntu font for some reason doesn't work on Windows anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not showing up, but that's okay. What we can do is we can specify fallback fonts.
Oh, like
in
Arial,
case.
because Arial would look good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me think about what we want to do here. Let's see if I can edit. Okay, we can go ahead and we can edit the HTML on the fly here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this font. Oh, there's multiple font tags here.
Yeah, because I couldn't get them to work. And another thing is, there was a border around the toolbar that was light blue with a red outline, but it's not showing up.
Okay.
So those are my two problems.
Okay, so let's start with this font tag.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is I'm sort of in Firebug sort of editing the HTML on the fly here. So I'm going to make this a div, and I'm going to give this a class. And then the closing font tag there. Where was the end of that font? Oh, it's one of these. Okay, a lot of font tags here. So I think this was the outermost one, right? Okay.
This is an indentation problem, though, Jacob.
Yeah, and I think the indentation doesn't always come across in Firebug very well. I think that's part of the issue. But I think we figured it out. That was the outermost font tag. And so now that's
there's a close.
I take that back. That's the okay.
Dana, I think
I see. Okay, this is for this top part. Okay. I see. And that's the text that used to be red. Okay. I see what's going on here now. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so we this is more like this. So okay, so this is just the H1. So I don't think we even need this containing div. Okay, we just have an H1, and we want the text in the H1 to be red and in the in a particular font that you want. So actually, what we're going to do. Okay, so we got rid of that div. We're going to add a rule, and that rule is just going to be H1. And oops, typo there. Let's try that again. Font color red, and it's sure enough, it's not. That didn't take. Oh, that's right. Sorry, for color it's not font dash color. It's just color. There we go.
Oh.
And then to pick the font, it's font dash family.
Okay, that explains.
And then I think we separate these with commas.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna do
If
that.
you want to have a fallback, yeah. Like so. So does that answer that particular question?
Yes.
I think it's probably just a case of not having the particular CSS rules. It's color, not font color, and then font dash family is what you want for. Now a resource for CSS for finding CSS rules in the future. Well,
as you're looking for this, Jacob, may I make a comment to Isla? Isla, would be great if you could, now that you had experience working with Brent the last couple of weeks on using CSS and divs, you can bring your website to where Dana has his.
Yep.
Do you think you're in a good position to do that?
Yeah, I can try.
Great, great. Ultimately, the goal here, Dana and Daniel and Isla, is to make your personal websites incorporate, really a professional quality code. So we want to use your personal websites as an example of state-of-the-art web design experience. Even though they may look very much the same as they did with the tables, when you look underneath, when you open the closet door, you'll see really well documented, easy to edit, indented code. Sorry for interrupting, Jacob.
Oh, no, that's fine. There's actually it's a nonprofit organization called Mozilla. It's the same group that's involved with creating Firefox, the browser. They have a great, probably the best reference for CSS anywhere. So I just put the link in the chat box. CSS and JavaScript and HTML really is just a great resource for all the details you would ever want to know and more about CSS and JavaScript. And so here they have they have a little reference here for every CSS rule that exists.
Wow, there's quite a few of them.
Oh, there are a ton. And it's impossible to remember all of them. So this is a good reference for to find what you need. So here there is a font, and we looked at font family, and we saw where was color. Okay, so all right. So if you clicked on color, you would see it kind of describes it's the color of the element's text content, and then it may give some examples. Now here's font. Now we looked at font family just to see in our example, which I guess I don't have up anymore. We looked at font family, and in particular, but there's also just a font, which is a shorthand for combining font family and a few other things related to font. So if you want to make it bold, or you want to make it a certain size, you can you can specify each of those separately, or you can use this font. And let's see if they have some examples. Yeah, there they have some examples. You can set the size. You can make it bold and italic, and then also set the font at the same time.
All right.
Oh, and this is pretty cool. Look at this. You can change some things about the font kind of in real time here, and it shows you the result, and it also shows you the CSS rule. That's really cool. And another cool thing for most of what we'll be doing in the near future, this won't make a big difference because we'll be using sort of basic rules that are used in all browsers. But once if you ever start using some complicated stuff or some newer stuff, an important section of the of our developer reference here is the browser compatibility section, where it tells you which browsers the CSS rule works on, and font is going to work across the board. It actually has question marks there for the mobile browsers, but I would imagine that this will probably work in pretty much every browser. But if you're using, especially some of the newer experimental stuff, you can go here and you can see, well, maybe no one uses Internet Explorer 3 and 4. Everyone's on newer versions now. The newest version is I think 12 or 13. But some people might still be on version 8 or version 9. So sometimes you want to take into account what browsers are compatible with the CSS that you're using. Anyway, that's that. John, what's next on the agenda?
Jacob, that's great. Would you like to see if we can help Daniel, Isla, and Dana convert into the Bootstrap-less environment or work?
Sure.
I know you presented that last time, but we really didn't, the interns didn't have a chance to really exercise.
Yep.
So maybe you want to give a quick summary of that to get everyone synced, and then pass the ball off and see if we can guide someone to install and do a small exercise.
Sure. Why don't we start with less? Less and Bootstrap are kind of two different things. But let's start with less, and it'll be pretty simple to get started with. I mean, there's lots of complicated stuff you can do with less, but there's also some some of the basic stuff is pretty simple, and we can get going pretty quickly here. Now here's a site, lesscss.org, and I'm going to put this in the chat box for everyone. Oh, that didn't come across as a link. Let's there we go. Okay. So what is less? Less is it's sort of like an extension of CSS that makes CSS easier to write, easier to organize, and easier to write. So what? Well, there's a lot of information on this site, but what I think everyone should do for right now is see where the link where it says getless.js. and you can well, what you should do is you should right-click and then save as, and save that file in a oh, what's happening here? Yeah, I would say try right-clicking that file and save as, and then find a good place to save that file. See, I think I already have it. If I'm not mistaken, I think I already have this saved. Okay, yeah, I have that file saved here in my project for demo purposes. But so I would save this file. Obviously, so you probably want to start with a. In fact, I've kind of started a new project here to demonstrate with. Right now in my folder, I have an images folder, and I should make a scripts folder for so that I can put JavaScripts in. And so for now, I'm just going to copy this from another project. Okay, so I have a site and I have my index.html. In your case, maybe you already have an index.html from an existing page or existing website that you've made, or you can make a new one for today. That's fine. And then again, to keep things organized, we probably have a separate scripts folder to put that less file in. So has everyone been able to download the less JavaScript file? Go ahead and raise your hand once you've been able to download that file. How about that?
I can't download it. I'm on my mom's account on my computer.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be able to follow along at least.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Isla or Daniel, are you guys able to download this file?
I think I have.
Okay, we're gonna.
Sorry, it's only we only have to download the JS.js file.
Yeah. So what I do is I would find there's the get less .js link here, and I would right click on this and save link as, and then here I'll find my folder here and save that file.
Okay.
That's the folder with my website. Okay, so I actually have a couple different. Oops. Of course, I saved that as a text file. I do want to save that as a JavaScript file. Okay, and .js. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now create another just to keep things organized, to keep my my images in a separate folder, my scripts in a separate folder, and my my styles in a separate folder. Okay, so I'm going to do this HTML file that I have on the screen now is just sort of the HTML file that's created by default by my IDE, by NetBeans. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just, for time's sake, I'm going to copy and paste some HTML that I have written previously. Okay. So we've got some divs here with some images. Now I can go ahead and show. Oops. I have to open this. There we go. I can show, and right now it doesn't look like much. I just have image, and this is taken from part of the Build It Yourself site. It's the different, some of the different Build It Yourself missions. So I have images and some text describing the images. And we'll go back to our file here. I can I'm going to go ahead and edit the title. Okay, some of this. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a CSS file. Call it styles.css. And again, I'm going to just copy and paste a little bit of CSS in here. Okay. And so I've got some things here where I'm going to make some of the font bold. I'm changing some of the margins. I'm changing the font. And so now, if I link that file, if I link that CSS file in, and we run again. Okay, so now I've got a little bit more style. Okay, I've got the titles there are bold, and we've got the layout starting to look a little bit better. This is, and we look at this CSS file. Why don't we add a little bit to this CSS file too? Let's say, in fact, let's say that these, let's say that we want to make some of these into, some of these titles into links, actually. And for now, I'll just have these links go just to buildityourself.com. I'll have to change the closing tag here so that it's valid HTML. And I'll just do that one for now. So if we look again, okay, now this is a link. This is an anchor tag. So we can add some, let's add some more CSS for that link. So we can say change the color. Let's just give it some color, and we can say when we hover over it, make it green. And if we go again, now we can see it's we've changed the colors, and we've got a different color when we hover over it. Let's go ahead and add some more links into our page. Let's say that let's say part of the text inside one of these paragraphs we want to be a link. And again, I'll just make that go to buildityourself.com for now. But you can imagine, maybe this link that says yucky garbage would link to a picture of yucky garbage or something like that. Okay, so now we have a couple links on this page, but maybe I've decided that if I have a link that is part of the title, like this one, maybe I want that to look different and have different colors, different style than a link that just appears in the paragraph. So I can go into my CSS, and I can say, well, if I have, notice I have, a mission title class on the link that's sort of the title of the mission there. So I can say, create a CSS selector like this, which I think you guys have probably seen this sort of CSS selector where it's not just an A, it's an A dot mission title. That means it's an A tag that has the mission title class. And I can give that a couple different colors there, and then I can even change the color it is when it's being hovered over. And if we look at this, now we can see that here this link has certain colors, and this link, which does not have that mission title class, has different colors. Is everyone kind of with me so far? I'm just adding some HTML and some CSS. You guys probably already have some HTML and CSS that's kind of like this on your pages already.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do next is we're going to demonstrate how less could make it easier for me to write all this CSS that I just wrote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new file, which I'm going to call less demo. And it's going to have a .less extension. So a normal CSS file is .css. Less file is .less, .less. And for starters, I'm just going to copy over all of the CSS from my other file. Okay, and this is so there's a start, and this is fine. This is a valid less file. But what less allows me to do some things that'll help me keep this whole thing a little bit better organized. And one of the things that Less lets me do is nest my rules. So what that means is I can say, okay, I want to take all my A tags. I can say, well, A, the color is, I have my colorage for just a plain A tag, but then I can specify the hover rule, and I have everything kind of in one place like that. Whereas previously, I had the this hover rule right after the just the plain A rule here, but I could see if I was making lots of edits to this file, maybe this rule ends up being a long way away. If this was a long file from this other one, and it could be hard to keep track of everything. But this lets me put everything kind of in one spot. This is an ampersand right here. That's the symbol above the 7. And so I can kind of keep everything organized that way. Another thing I can do is I can effectively do the same thing with my mission title. Oops. And my links that are mission titles. I have that, and I bet I can even nest that in there. And so this just a little way to keep things a little bit better organized. So I set up a demonstrate one other thing here really quick. Let's say I have some links that are outside of these divs entirely. And we go, okay, so we have this link up here. And what we can do is we can, let's say I want this link styled differently than these other links again. I can use nesting. If I were just writing CSS, I would say, well, I want these. What was the name of this? Okay, this is a div with class mission. So I want A's that are inside of mission classes to have these colors. Okay, and then if I just have A, that's going to apply to the link that's outside of the mission. So have you guys seen these sorts of CSS rules before, where you have one selector and then a space and then another sort of selector, and that means that the second selector is inside of this A tag is inside of a div of something with class mission. Okay, and we can do this a lot more easily with less. As with less, we could say we can nest our rules. So so instead of doing mission A and then rules in here, and then if we have something else inside mission, we would have mission mission P, and then maybe later on I decide I want to add more stuff, so I might go at the end of my file and say mission, maybe a header inside mission, and have more rules. If you keep things better organized, I can have mission here once, and then I have one section inside mission, and this should be indented. There we go. I have one section inside of this mission rule that's for A, and another that's for P, and then another that's for H1. And so instead of having three totally separate rules for links that are inside something with class mission, or P's that are inside mission, or H1s that are inside mission, I have this one selector that has all three of those inside. So now I can get rid of these. And to include that, here we'll have just a few minutes. We're kind of running short on time, but we'll have a couple minutes for you guys for us to try these out on some of your guys' files here. To include that, this less file on our page, I'll do two things. First of all, I will link it. Let's see. First of all, I'm going to comment out this old CSS file, and we're going to put in our. We're going to link our less file. Okay, so this is my less demo.less. And after that, I'm going to add my script. So remember, I saved that script file. So I'm going to add my script using a script tag. Looks like this. And so that's that script is sort of the magic sauce that's going to make less work here. Because the the CSS is under the CSS. You don't need any sort of extra files in order to make C. You can just include a CSS file. If you do less, you want to put in this extra script to just make it work. And of course, doing a live demo, things rarely work out perfectly the first time, so I'll have to, gosh, we're really running out of time, which is unfortunate. We'll have to pick this up again next week and get some examples from your sites that'll hopefully will make a little bit more sense and kind of be more meaningful.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We just kind of got crunched on time there, John.
No problem. If everyone can give some thought to converting your personal websites to this new, to incorporate some of these new tricks. That's the goal, to make our websites not only look good, but behind the scenes have really great code. Can we get some feedback just before we leave? Daniel, is this is this useful? Is this how can we make this more helpful to you in terms of stuff you want to learn?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, actually, I really like that, and I think that, well, last time I saw Jacob showing us this thing, Blessed,
Yeah.
he talked about variables,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like the idea about, I think I definitely will change all my websites to less, and so
You can see the advantage. In other words, Jacob has made it clear that going from tables to divs and CSS is good, and then incorporating less is going to make you a more powerful web designer. When you want to build big sites, less is going to help you a lot.
yeah, and well, I think Jacob is working on variables right now.
Great. Okay, Dana, can you give us some feedback, just so we want to try to make these webcasts as useful to you as possible. Are we going too fast? Are we presenting stuff that is interesting to you?
Yeah.
Can you suggest other things that you'd like to learn that we should incorporate?
I'd say that this was pretty useful. Less is a little bit confusing because it's like a whole new thing to me, but new things are always confusing for me. I'm just like that, but I'm kind of getting the concept, and it seems like something I might want to use if I add more pages to my website.
Okay, good. And Isla, you're last up. Are we going too fast? Do we need to spend more time passing you the ball and giving you the chance to use this stuff?
I really like it. I mean, it was a little bit hard to follow just because, like, it's a new thing. Like, for me, I'm kind of like with Dana on this. Like, it was a bit confusing, but I think that the more we, like, practice it and the more, like, we go over it, I think it'll be much easier to understand. And I like it.
Okay, perfect. Jacob, I think that we get that. We need to present just like you've done, and then we need to spend 2 or 3 webcasts just passing the ball to the interns and guiding them through the process. Practice makes perfect, they say. All right, guys. Jacob, thank you. It's really fun for me listening to you present. You're a master professor, really. You're in the wrong business.
Thanks, everyone.
Jacob. You should be a professor.
Thanks, everyone, for joining this afternoon. Hopefully, we'll get some more time to kind of drill into this. It seems complicated at first, but I think once we, I think if we have a chance to look at some of the CSS that you've already written, and make make changes, see specific places where less could make it easier, I think this will start to make a lot more sense.
Great. Okay. Stay out of trouble this week and see you next. Does next Saturday work for you, Jacob?
Sure.
Same time? Okay. Is this time good for everyone? Ada?
Yep.
Daniel, 10 o'clock on Saturday. Okay. See you next week.
Thank you.
Jacob, before you go.